This is the afternoon of the 7th of November. Clip put up by Pondering Politics. Title, Trump just ended his presidency on live TV. See this dope sitting at his desk. Have a listen. Plays for about 9 minutes.
So I don't want to hear about the affordability because right now we're much less.
Brace yourselves, folks, because Donald Trump may very well have single-handedly ended his own presidency 2 years in advance. And I say that without exaggeration because of an on-camera moment from a late-night presser yesterday where Trump erupted, not just on reporters, but the American people as a whole on the topic of affordability and said, quote, I don't want to hear about the affordability. In other words, Trump was telling Americans to sit down, shut up, and stop complaining about the price of things on his watch, which is a pretty stupid thing to say, particularly in the aftermath of this week's blue wave elections. What a shocking thing to say. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel.
Yeah, I know. Subscribe, hit the key button. Yeah, like they do with me, right?
Friends, we're going to play this segment so you can hear it in its entirety. But yeah, Trump may very well have just ended his own presidency.
Talk about the cost of Thanksgiving and the cost of living through Thanksgiving and enjoying Thanksgiving. For Joe Biden, it was 25% more than it is for me at a later time. Our energy costs are way down. Our groceries are way down. Everything is way down. And
I wonder when the last time
the press
Trump went to the
reports
grocery
whatever
store.
the con people say.
I don't think he knows what the inside of a grocery store even looks like. You know? The price of groceries are down. He's delusional.
You know, I call the Democrats con men and women. They make up numbers. But when you look at 25% reduction in costs for Thanksgiving between Biden and me, meaning this administration, that's a tremendous number. It's the biggest reduction in cost in the history of that.
How is that even possible? Okay? Everything's gone up since this dope took office. Everything's gone up. You know how many people are going to vote for him? Probably a handful, if that. He's destroyed Thanksgiving. He's probably going to destroy Christmas. There's not going to be a single air traffic controller or family that's going to vote for him. You know what's really disgusting? I think those useless, worthless representatives, they still get paid. They get direct deposits. I mean, it's a joke, and they're sitting on their fat asses. Well, they do nothing anyway. Let's go back and listen to this blabbermouth.
Chart or whatever it is they do. They do a synopsis of everything. They cover every element of Thanksgiving meals. 25% down. So I don't want to hear about the affordability because right now we're much less. If you look at energy, we're getting close.
So let's stop right there. You've all seen the polls. We've gone over the polls. A majority of Americans, an overwhelming majority of Americans, say that prices and inflation have gotten worse since last year. It's gotten worse under Trump than it was under Biden. And inflation was the reason they kicked Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris out of the White House and gave another shot to Trump. And most Americans are saying, actually, Trump's made it worse. It's worse under Trump than it was last year when we kicked the last occupants of the White House out. So this was already an uphill climb for Trump. And granted, he's not on the back.
You know, when this idiot was in office the first time, they also had a government shutdown. But this one is lasting longer than the other one did. He's a moron. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's an idiot.
Ballot this year or in 2026, and if he doesn't try to violate the Constitution, he'll never run again for office. So maybe he just doesn't give a shit. Maybe he's just dropped all pretense. But given the blue wave elections, and given that the economy was the most important issue, and given that the midterms, if Democrats take control of the House and hopefully the Senate, they will be able to significantly reduce Trump's ability to act unilaterally. They can more meaningfully check him than Congress currently has under Republican leadership, feckless Republican leadership. So again, I say, to tell the American people, I don't want to hear about the affordability because Thanksgiving is actually a little bit cheaper than it was last year. And again, as we pointed out, I've seen plenty of power banks over my 15 years of reviewing tech, but this Ridge one quickly became a favorite. So this, a 10,000 milliamp hour battery that's already this small.
Just a joke.
deceptive as hell. It's been community noted to hell and back. So the Walmart Thanksgiving meal bundle that he's talking about went from 21 items to 15, so it's fewer items, period. And the quality of the item has changed. It went from premium products to great value. So it's incredibly misleading. But you're getting it 25% cheaper than you were last year. Not the same products. You're getting less and less quality cheaper than you were the meal of under the Walmart Thanksgiving bundle under Biden. So it's not apples to apples. You're comparing apples to oranges. And by the way, apples and oranges are incredibly expensive under Trump, so I'm not sure we want to use that particular metaphor either. But let's let him continue hoisting himself on his own petard.
It's a $2 a gallon gasoline. With Biden, it was $4.50, $5. Another thing, inflation. We had the worst inflation in
Gasoline here is around $4.60 a gallon. What's he talking about?
the history of our country. Now we have virtually no inflation at all. It sounded a very...
We have no inflation at all. That's why we're getting a 2.8% increase on our Social Security, because we have no inflation at all. Guy's nuts.
low number and a very normal number. So the affordability is much better with the Republicans. The only problem is the Republicans don't talk about it.
They
And
don't talk about it. Talk.
Republicans should start talking about it
Talk.
and use their heads, because we have great numbers. We have great, and they're going to only get better when all these jobs open up, all these factories open up that are being built all over our country. But I mean, we are building auto plants. We're building AI plants. We're leading in AI over China. And
He's pissed. You can see it. Like, how dare you? How dare you question me? How dare you criticize me? You will accept what I give you, peasants. That's what Trump is saying. As Raw Story is reporting, a real gift. Critics pounce as Trump gaffe said to be coming to an ad near you. Trump late Thursday made a statement that was immediately seized upon by his critics. Answering questions for reporters, Trump made claims about the economy and said that the media was falsely reporting the facts. His last sentence triggered celebration from his enemies. MSNBC's Chris Hayes says, Trump saying, I don't want to hear about affordability is a real gift. Usually he exits outside the realm of logic of gaffes, but that one's going to get a lot of airplay. House Dem insider Aaron Frischner chimed in, quote, I don't want to hear about affordability is coming to an ad near you. You can take that to the bank, as well it should. Dem influencer and friend of the show, Harry Sisson, said, quote, Trump just lied about prices and then said, I don't want to hear about the affordability. You hear that, America? Trump couldn't care less about your rising costs. But don't worry, his billionaire friends are doing just fine. Neera Tanden, a former government official, noted, quote, I'm looking forward to the ads of Trump saying, quote, so I don't want to hear about the affordability, and Trump morphing into Mike Lawler. But it will be a fun midterm. So that was a disaster, a total disaster by Trump. And to the point that he was making about, Republicans need to tout his wins more, politically, that is true. Facts don't speak for themselves. This is what helped undermine President Biden during his presidency. I think Biden and so many Democrats just assumed, we passed meaningful legislation. We passed more legislation than Trump. We were legislatively more accomplished. People will draw the connection. They will identify that and draw the connection. Bullshit. Facts don't speak for themselves. Not in this media ecosystem, not with our attention spans as corroded as they are, and not with social media algorithms funneling people down different. You have to make the case persuasively. So he's right there. The problem is his record is objectively terrible, so there's not much by way to brag about, right? He's just saying Republicans need to go out and lie. And maybe they can. Maybe they can successfully deceive the American people. It's possible. I'm not running for office, so I can be honest about the American people. We can be deceived. We can be tricked. And we can be gaslit. So maybe Trump is right. Just Republicans need to lie more. But prices are not declining. I mean, he did lie. Maybe they need to sell the lie better, but they were lies. Energy prices have increased. Grocery prices have increased. Inflation has increased. That's why people are so pissed at Trump. And that's why his polling is as atrocious as it is. And Midas Touch put this interesting compilation, very short compilation together about how Trump was trying to crib the affordability message from Zoran Mamdani, Abigail Spanberger, and Mikey Sherrill, the successful high-profile Democratic candidates who swept their elections on Tuesday's blue wave election. And then 24 hours later, he loses his temper and is like, I don't want to hear about affordability. Take a look.
You know, they have this new word called affordability, and they don't talk about it enough. The Democrats did.
It's the biggest reduction in cost in the history of that chart or whatever it is they do. It's a synopsis of everything. They cover every element of Thanksgiving meals. 25% down. So I don't want to hear about the affordability.
Not good. Not good, folks. That was a terrible, stupid thing to say. And again, Democrats would be foolish not to pounce on this and cram it down the throats of the American people. Hey, listen, this is what the commander-in-chief, whom you elected to lower your costs, has to say. Not only has he not lowered costs, he's made things more expensive. And when asked about it, like, hey, what are you going to do about this? He says, shut the fuck up and stop asking me questions, stop pestering me. Take what I give you, peasants. Democrats, again, should not just assume that this will get out. They need to make it viral. They need to be relentless. And so if you look at Trump here about affordability on Twitter, it is trending everywhere. Democrats should, again, be very loud, very outspoken about this. And again, they should cram ads. They should spam this out into the ether. It's not good. It's not good for Trump. And it's a real opportunity for Democrats to make the case. And again, I say, this may very well, given the results of the blue wave elections, in which there was overperformance, incredible margins, the entire state of Virginia, all of the counties moved to the left. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll win 2026, but when you have Trump out here saying shit like that, it makes it much more likely. So he may have very well just crippled his presidency for the next rest of the term. In the meantime, let me know what you think.
You sure as hell know what I think. This is the President of the United States. Guy's a fucking moron. Pass it along. I can't do this alone.